Have you ever wondered about that exact moment? The tipping point when our ancestors went from being the hunted to the hunters? It wasn't a single day, of course, but a long, slow awakening. Imagine, for a moment, a world shrouded in green, a world where the rustle of leaves could mean death. Our early ancestors, small and vulnerable, spent their lives looking over their shoulders, their hearts pounding in their chests at every shadow. They were prey, plain and simple. For millennia, the law of the jungle was absolute. The great cats, the giant serpents, the colossal bears, they were the kings and queens. We were just another item on the menu. We huddled in caves, our fires flickering against an overwhelming darkness filled with hungry eyes. We learned the rhythms of our predators, their hunting grounds, their schedules. Survival wasn't about strength. It was about being invisible. But something was changing inside those fragile skulls. A new kind of fire was being kindled. It was the fire of intellect, of cooperation. We started watching our predators, not just with fear, but with a dangerous curiosity. We saw how the pack of wolves coordinated, how the lone tiger used ambush. We saw their power, but we also began to see their weaknesses. The first tool wasn't just a rock, it was an idea. The idea that we could extend our reach, that we could strike harder, that we could defend ourselves. The first sharpened stick, the first flint spearhead. These weren't just objects. They were declarations of intent, a message to the vast, indifferent wilderness. We are no longer helpless. And then came the day. A small band of early humans, armed with their crude spears and a terrifying new courage, decided not to run. Maybe it was a deer, trapped in a thicket. Instead of waiting for a larger predator to claim it, they moved in. Their hearts were surely hammering, a symphony of fear and adrenaline. They worked together, shouting, jabbing, driving the animal. It was clumsy, it was messy, it was terrifying. But it worked. That first taste of a successful hunt was transformative. It was more than just a meal. It was a taste of power, of self-determination. The word spread, not through language as we know it, but through demonstration, through shared experience. Soon, other groups were trying it. They learned to track, to anticipate, to set simple traps. They learned to use the landscape to their advantage, driving herds over cliffs or into narrow ravines. The hunters were born. The balance of the ancient world began to shift. The whispers of our success traveled on the wind. The great predators, who had ruled unchallenged for eons, started to notice. Their prey was becoming scarcer, and there was a new, strange scent in their territory, the scent of clever, two-legged rivals. At first, it was probably just confusion. A lone hunter, easily picked off, was a simple meal. But a coordinated group, a group that threw sharp sticks from a distance and wielded fire, that was something new, something unsettling. And this is where our story takes a turn, because the jungle noticed. It wasn't a conscious thought, not like ours. It was a deeper, more ancient intelligence. The collective life force of the forest, the intertwined network of root and branch, fang and claw, began to react. The jungle fought back. Creatures that once avoided us started to become more aggressive. The predators didn't just hunt for food anymore. They seemed to hunt with a purpose. To eliminate the threat, they became smarter. Saber-tooths that once hunted alone were seen in pairs, flanking human hunting parties. The giant cave bears, usually solitary, began guarding key water sources, denying us access. It was as if the predators were learning from us, adopting our own strategies of cooperation and territorial control. The very flora seemed to turn against us. Plants that were once harmless developed new toxins. Vines, thick as a man's arm, seemed to grow in patterns that created natural mazes, trapping hunting parties far from home. Spores that caused confusion and disorientation would puff from strange, pulsating fungi as humans passed by. The jungle was no longer a neutral backdrop. It was an active participant in the war. It was adapting, evolving in real time to push back against the rise of humanity. Our ancestors were forced to adapt in turn. This evolutionary arms race accelerated our own development. We had to become smarter, more creative. Our tools became more refined, our traps more ingenious. We developed better communication, intricate signals to warn of the jungle's new tricks. We learned which plants were now our enemies and which remained our allies, creating the very first foundations of medicine and poison. This epic struggle, this war between the nascent human intellect and the raw, adaptive power of the wild, forged us into who we are. Every challenge the jungle threw at us, we met with a new innovation. Every creature that evolved to hunt us forced us to evolve a better way to hunt it. We weren't just fighting for survival anymore. We were fighting for dominion. It was a conflict that lasted for generations, a silent, Brutal war fought in the shadows of enormous trees and in the depths of misty valleys. And in the end, our intellect won out. Slowly, painstakingly, we carved out our place, not as just another animal, but as a shaper of the world. We beat the jungle. But we should never forget that it fought back, that it tested us, and that in doing so, it helped create the very ingenuity that defines our species. The echoes of that ancient war still resonate today. It's in our innate fear of the dark, in our fascination with the untamed wild, and in the deep, primal respect we feel for the power of nature. We won, but the memory of the jungle fighting back is written into our very DNA. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the deep past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the dawn of our world.